Warning: the following video may be classified by self-proclaimed, allegedly unbiased, independent fact-checkers. Proceed at your discretion.
See, here's the common misconception is not one Canadian in this entire country has lost their freedom. You've lost privileges, and you've lost privileges because you had the freedom to make a choice. You chose not to get a vaccine. Now you deal with consequences. If y'all can't keep up, pull up a dictionary. You know what? Not one Canadian has lost their freedom. I can go walk in the woods. I can pick up sticks. I can throw rocks in a lake if I want. But I have privileges now because I got a vaccine. And that privileges entitle me to have a job, go shopping, jump on an airplane and go to a different country. See, you all keep getting this shit confused. And Canada and 99% of us didn't ask for a bunch of wannabe heroes with GEDs and class 1s to fight for our goddamn freedoms. So if anyone in the comments would like to write a freedom that they lost, I'd love to read it so I can laugh at the absolute epic bullshit you're going to try to come up with.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. This is Captain Coby. He's a guy from Edmonton, and that clip that I just played got some attention on social media. He went from having no followers to almost 20,000 on Twitter and over 200,000 on TikTok. So he thinks he's a pretty important guy all of a sudden now, and believes he might be the new Rick Mercer for telling it like it is. He's not telling it like it is. He can't even keep his messaging consistent with the 15 minutes of fame he's accrued, as I'll demonstrate here today.
You know what? Not one Canadian has lost their freedom. I can go walk in the woods. I can pick up sticks. I can throw rocks in a lake if I want.
Yeah, there's the freedom that makes us great over here in Canada, isn't it? I know that all the people who flee their countries to come to Canada or the United States, that they're really seeking the freedom to go outside and pick up sticks or throw rocks into a lake. That is the freedom that makes us the envy of other countries, isn't it? Although some challenged Coby that forcing someone to choose between an experimental medical intervention and their job, which directly affects their ability to provide food and shelter for their families, is an unfair infringement on their freedoms. Coby doubles down with his word gymnastics, and having a job is just a privilege, and that you can just grow vegetables and raise farm animals to eat. Of course, this is nonsense, because you can't just expect people who have no experience in farming to just pick that up. It's not like you're going to just be able to afford farming equipment and land and round up some chickens and cows out of nowhere. Whenever you're dealing with woke supremacists like this, it's never a bad idea to flip the scenario into a hypothetical SJW-centered one to expose the holes in it. So I left him a comment and a scenario in which you deny someone a job based on their race and tell them that it is fair because they can just farm for themselves. Of course, that's clearly discrimination, and it's evil. He didn't respond, even when one of his wokester cheerleaders egged him on to. Sextuple You here writes, oh please, Captain Coby, pick this one. Remember that these are the real Canadians, the tolerant ones. It's just a stupid argument and a stupid talking point. If we were expected to actually just know how to farm and stuff like that, it would be a highly important and prioritized subject that you would have in school that kids would have to learn from once they start to once they're adults, because it's complicated and it requires a lot of education. And obviously that is not in the curriculum. It's just a stupid talking point from a guy who's not nearly as smart as he thinks he is. And he does think he's a really smart guy. In fact, he really looks down on all of us. He looks down on the people in the convoy, all the truckers, all the supporters. He thinks they're all idiots, and he's very happy to express that.
Seems like we're pretty free to me. Don't let these Canadians get you down, guys. Don't worry. Be happy. And your 2.5 number in Ottawa, there's 1 million people live in Ottawa. So if you guys can do us all a favor, when you get that give, send, go money, pump it into education, because clearly y'all lacked in that department.
Apparently, Captain IQ over here doesn't understand that if people come from other surrounding cities that have a lot more people in them, like Toronto and Montreal and other provinces even, which a lot of people were doing every weekend, then you can easily get those numbers up higher than the population of Ottawa.
Y-O-U apostrophe, and then you put in the R-E. And you were calling me the tool. Well, I have a great tool that'll definitely assist you. It's called spell check, or maybe making it through grade 4. Could you imagine waking up on a Saturday morning and be like, man, I'm going to leave a comment on this fat TikTok and I'm going to roast him. He's not even going to know what to say, but all of a sudden that fat on TikTok takes your comment, puts it into a video, and he's going to display it to the whole entire world to show exactly how stupid you are? Well, buckle up, princess, because here we go. First of all, you are not speaking for the majority of Canadians, as the majority of Canadians are currently sitting at home drinking delicious coffee, laughing at society's rejects on TV while they dance out there fighting for freedoms that not one of you lost, like a big giant sausage party. But you know what? It's okay. I should take political and demonstration and world advice of views from a dude who can't even use the right "your" in a sentence. And also there, bud, there's only one big sexy in this conversation, and it sure as ain't you.
Captain IQ is a little bit of a stickler for spelling, especially when it comes to apostrophe use. And no, I did not speed up the video when I put that. That's how fast he's talking. It's like Ben Shapiro, except really vulgar and not nearly as intelligent. I do find it ironic that he describes himself in the same video as both a fat and a big sexy. And here's Coby's classy portrayal of what it might look like when the truckers maybe get arrested in Ottawa.
Don't tase me, just stings. My safe word is pineapple juice.
Cross your
We
ankles.
gonna take pictures? Swap man, what's my safe word?
Whoa, wait a minute. Did you catch that? Oh, Captain IQ. Come on. That's not how you spell heroes. Unless maybe he was really calling them South American fish? Don't worry. I gotcha. Oh, Jesus. Again? Wait, this one isn't even spelled the same way as the last one. An apostrophe? Oh, Captain. I thought you were the apostrophe guy. It looks like this spelling bee is more like a spelling wannabe. You know it's bad when you spell a word two different ways, and they're both wrong. Well, that's embarrassing. And here it is again. Brutal. Just an FYI, hero apostrophe S means belonging to the hero. For example, the hero's truck or the hero's freedom. You should probably make sure that your spelling and your grammar is flawless if you're going to make a point of attacking people's intelligence and comparing them to failed school children based on that. It's kind of hypocritical when you don't hold yourself up to the same standards of the people that you're judging. It's no wonder that you're in alignment with the Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. That's my free lesson to you. Consider it a donation to your GoFundMe project. Congratulations on all the donations you've received so far. I'm looking forward to tuning in to your show, Traveling Across Canada. I'm sure you're definitely not going to swindle all these generous Canadians into paying for a brand new, shiny motorcycle that you don't actually already have. I can already see that you have all of the makings of having a very bright future as a politician in Canada. Talk about believing your own hype. My God. Despite the video evidence plastered all over his social media that can really only be described as divisive, hate-filled language meant to create division, Captain Unity over here gaslights the internet and expresses alleged intentions of bringing Canada together and uniting Canadians in the name of his GoFundMe project that he shamelessly plugs in the same breath. Except, of course, when Captain Unity is proudly announcing that he's actually creating the divide, the exact opposite of the aforementioned sentiments.
You know what? I'm totally okay with being one of the main problems in Canada right now, and I will keep calling the protesters idiots, and I will keep being part of the divide. Well, you know what? If I'm creating a divide, here's the line. So if I've created the divide, and here it is, I'm on this side.
Captain Divisional Unity. Captain Unity actually thinks that he's quote, smacking convoy supporters in the face with facts. He believes this.
Guys, the reason people like this don't want to listen to me is because what I do is I spit facts and knowledge.
No, you're not. There are no facts. There are none. I've looked up and down this guy's page. There are no facts. There are no numbers. There's no information. There's no studies. There's no nothing. There's no facts. There's nothing. He has a lot of opinions and he does a lot of name calling, but that's not facts. The only numbers that this guy talks about is how much money he's raised for his GoFundMe and how many followers he's got.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have officially rolled over 206,000 followers on TikTok, and we're damn near close to 20,000 followers on Twitter.
So Captain Unity gives no actual facts on anything. What he's really doing is just being a troll and driving that wedge of division, and he does that with the opposite of facts. He just regurgitates the same tired, woke supremacist propaganda and lies as the mainstream media and Justin Trudeau do.
This side, we got people waving upside down Canadian flags, Confederate flags, flags with, shall we say, 1940s German literature on them. These people over here are fully supporting domestic terrorism that has taken over our nation's capital.
The Nazi flag that circulated was highly suspicious. It was never captured anywhere where there were crowds. And the Confederate flag was also suspicious because the guy's entire face was covered up in a crowd of maskless faces. And the crowd approached this guy and told him to leave because that's not what this protest was about.
Now he's going. Now he's gone. We called him out.
The truth of the matter is that this protest isn't racist or terrorism or any of these other ridiculous alarmist terms. This has been largely exceptionally peaceful for about 3 straight weeks now. And Captain Unity here is peddling lies and garbage. He didn't go to Ottawa. He hasn't watched any of the live streams, obviously. I have. I've watched hours of it from various sources. Viva Frei has done about 40 to 50 hours of live streaming there in Ottawa, including even having conversations with the counter-protesters. I've watched it. It's not the lies that Captain Go Fund My Motorcycle is spreading. But that won't stop him from continuing to peddle these disgusting lies that it's some white supremacist event when it has been as multicultural as our country is, with people bringing their kids and families too. You think this guy can be honest about anything? That he tells it like it is? I don't. After outright lying about the convoy and its supporters on every disgusting low level, on his side of the unity divide, it's all sunshine and rainbows.
On this side of the line, there's my divide line again. This side, we got 100% hardworking, loving Canadians. These people don't want to be associated with racism. They don't want to be associated with domestic terrorists and genuinely love this country.
You can't tell it like it is if your bias is shining as bright as the sun in the sky. And with this, on top of everything else that's already been shared, you can see how dishonest this guy is. Because he doesn't call out the people in the counter-protest camp that got caught waving communist flags. He doesn't have anything to say about the disgusting signs that counter-protesters carry. Or the Ottawa resident grown man who decided to bully a 13-year-old girl and steal her Canadian flag. Now, the sign that said "Gas the Unvaccinated" was actually a protest in the US. And unlike the captain here, I have the integrity to tell you the truth about that. But let's not pretend that there isn't any violent, unacceptable conduct coming from the counter-protesters. Like actually trying to run over a trucker. Captain Coby is dishonest. He's not presenting the facts, and his bias is interfering in his ability to call this objectively at all. Now, I'm not going to call everyone, or even most of the people in the counter-protest camp, violent maniacs, because I'm better than that. And it would be idiotic, Coby. So you can obsess over whether these are freedoms or privileges that we're fighting for. Brian Peckford, who founded and co-signed the thing, has a different opinion, and he's a little bit more expert on the subject than Captain IQ over here.
Mr. Peckford and I have been talking over the last week, as I mentioned, because he has serious concerns about the policies of the current Canadian government in relationship to the Canadian Charter of Rights, which was established as part of the Constitution Act in the 1980s. And he, as I said in the bio, is the only living minister who participated in that constitutional process and is therefore a unique, let's say, historical and current resource, because he can help illuminate Canadians as to the intent of the people who were instrumental in drafting, writing, and agreeing on all of those fundamentally important accords. So let's start by talking about what concerns are driving you to re-enter the political discussion at the moment.
Well, primarily it is the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, especially those freedoms and rights that are in sections 2, 6, 7, and 15 of the Charter, which I helped craft. And they're freedoms of association, freedoms of expression, religion, conscience, freedom of assembly, freedom of association, that's in section 2. Section 6 is freedom of mobility, the right to travel anywhere in Canada or leave Canada. Section 6 deals with life, liberty, and the security of the person. And Section 15 with equality. Every Canadian is equal before the law. As we sit here today, those provisions are being violated by all the governments of Canada, but in particular, in my case right now, the federal government of Canada.
Freedoms, rights, privileges. You're missing the point, man. The point is that this isn't Canada anymore. This country is unrecognizable. You shouldn't be able to take away a person's job just to make them take a medical intervention, an experimental one. And, especially one that the majority of people lost their jobs because of this. They didn't agree on taking this vaccine before they were hired. So they're changing the rules on them. Okay, I should have more than picking up sticks and throwing rocks into a lake to look forward to in this country. This is Canada. I should be able to go to a restaurant, to go to the movies, to go to the gym, to go to the swimming pool, to go to a hockey game, to get on an airplane, regardless of my choice to vaccinate. Brian Peckford just talked about that. Your ability to be mobile within the country and without. These are our rights. So when you get on a little TikTok video and tell everybody about your privilege that you can get on a plane, go to whatever country you want because you're vaccinated, you're talking out of your ass, man. You're not bringing facts. You're talking out of your fat, stupid ass. It's not as simple as vaccinated equals healthy and safe, and unvaccinated equals unclean and dangerous. Even you know that, Coby. Natural immunity from prior infection isn't even part of the conversation still. Other countries are doing it. Why are we so behind? Everybody knows, okay, there are mountains of studies that prove that natural immunity from prior infection is way more long-lasting, way more robust than anything you can get from any number of vaccines. And we're ignoring that. We're not even talking about that. Just because someone isn't vaccinated doesn't mean they're carrying around disease. And just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean that you're not. The vaccinated are just as capable of getting infected and transmitting the virus. So the strategy's inadequate and it's nonsensical. You want to talk about bringing the facts? Those are the facts. That's the truth. You're not a leader. You're not telling it like it is. You're spitting a lot of BS. You're entitled to your opinion. I encourage you to get as vaccinated as you like. It's your life. Don't go around pretending your opinions about how stupid you think people who disagree with you are is spitting facts. It isn't. Before I started recording this, I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. Initially, I wasn't going to call you names and just outright wreck you. But I'm glad I did. You're a bum. You're a bully. I don't think your intentions are good at all. And if they are, then you are a failure. I think you're an immature, useful idiot. And you deserve every jab you get. See what I did there? Captain Unity pretends that he's a firm guy, tells it like it is. He's actually really weak and insecure. He cares quite a bit what other people think. So much so that he actually asked his newfound following for fashion advice regarding how he wears a hat instead of just doing whatever the hell he wants. Coby, I'm about your age and I'm bald and I like wearing my hat backwards. And anyone who doesn't like that can stuff it. I'll tell you what I won't do though. I won't wear a cap backwards with a hole in it that exposes a bare bald spot, because that looks terrible. There's only one positive, rational thought I've seen come out of this fraud and all of this, which was an expression that the Canadian flag is supposed to be a symbol of what a great country and what a great people we have here, and encouraging others to pick up a flag and display it.
A lot of people these days are scared to see our red, white, and maple leaf flying. And that is absolutely heartbreaking if you are a Canadian. You know what? It's a shame that people are afraid to walk down the street and a pickup truck pulls up behind them with a Canadian flag and instantly they think that they are in trouble. They think that something bad might happen. So you know what I'm doing tomorrow? And I hope you all join me, is I'm buying a flag. I ask each and every one of you, join this movement, buy a flag, wave it proudly in the sky.
I agree with that. I think it's terrible that people feel afraid if they see a Canadian flag or a freedom sign. This is what the problem is. You're blaming a beautiful and peaceful protest for the irrational fear people have of symbols of love and freedom. Again, I challenge you, watch all the live streams that I have. Watch as much as I have. Watch the hours and hours of this. This isn't violent or threatening at all. This isn't anything like Black Lives Matter protests in 2020 that went on for months and resulted in people getting shot and businesses getting destroyed and looted, and none of that. And a lot of the people who opposed the convoy now were perfectly happy in 2020 to make all the excuses in the world for this actually scary, actual domestic terrorism display that was being cloaked by the mainstream media as peaceful. The reason that a small number of people become afraid when they see Canadian flags or freedom signs is because of the constant, repetitive messaging from the media and division spreaders like Captain Unity over here that's fooling Canadians into believing something that's overwhelmingly not true. And for the first time, Coby finally said something good in encouraging people to get a flag and wave it proudly. But that didn't last, because the Twitter mob you've aligned yourself with is irrational and crazy. They're convinced that the convoy and the flag are symbols of hate and white nationalism and all the rest of it, and they want no part of it. And that's your audience, Coby. So instead of telling it like it is and sticking up for the first good unifying thing you've actually said, you do what all insecure people do, which is give in to the mob, bend the knee at it, and become a puppet of the mob. Captain Unity has not brought up displaying the maple leaf since. Captain Unity also told everybody that he was going to stop mentioning the convoy, belittling people like the immature delinquent that made him popular with this mob to begin with.
I'm done making convoy content, protest content, COVID content. I want us all to remember that we are Canadians and we are a proud bunch, and it doesn't matter which side of the line you fall on. We all need to come together as one.
But of course he didn't. He couldn't. Because either he enjoys being a troll or because the mob pressured him, or both. The mob turns on Coby, judges him for not being more of a ruthless, bloodthirsty abuser to anyone who disagrees with them. So he caves like the puppet he is, gets right back on the horse, driving that divide, and falling in line by the force of the mob. So now, as the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, starts unreasonably flexing his muscles, using emergency powers that have only been used in war times to impose himself on a protest that has been, again, largely peaceful. Go watch all the footage. There's hours and hours and hours of documentation on this on YouTube if you just go look at it. But Justin Trudeau's using emergency powers to flex on this. I hope you and your woke supremacy mob enjoy it. Even if you didn't agree with these people, even if you didn't like what they were protesting, this protest was largely a good thing. These people, whether you agreed with them or not, they cared enough about the world we're in, the country we're in, and trying to do something to bring us back to the lives we once had. And they put themselves out there. They knew there was going to be risks standing up to a government, an overreaching government. And they did it anyways. That's the leadership you're championing. Okay, and all of your infinite wisdom, Captain Coby and the woke supremacist mob. That's the kind of authority that you want to give them. That's the sort of action that you want to celebrate. I sincerely hope you enjoy this. Enjoy it now. Right now, you agree with the government. You're in alignment with them and what actions they deem necessary. Maybe one day you won't. At this point, I don't know how much more out of touch with reality the government and their policies need to get. But eventually, they will get so ridiculous that even you will not believe them. These guys aren't trying to get us out of this pandemic. They're not. They're obviously using the pandemic as a tool to impose more control on you. I don't know how you can't see that. If they were trying to get us out of this pandemic, they absolutely suck at it. Every measure from social distancing, lockdowns, mask mandates, vaccination, every measure you can name didn't get us back to normal like they told us it would. Even the combination of all those things, we're nowhere near seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It just keeps going up and down. This is going to be your life for the rest of your life if you keep enabling them to control everything. And actually, unknowingly, to all you people that are watching this, whether carefully or just what the news is telling you, did it ever dawn on you? These truckers, these people have been in Ottawa for 3 weeks. Largely unvaccinated, largely not wearing masks, right? I made the point earlier, there are people who are vaccinated that are supporting them. But, largely it's an unvaccinated group. No masks, no distancing. They've been together doing this for 3 weeks. How come they're not dying? How come they're not filling up the Ottawa hospitals? There's not a single story about that. Nobody's bringing it up. The media won't talk about it because obviously it goes against the narrative that you need to do all these things that the government's trying to make you do in order to live your lives. You don't. It's lies. Every single thing they tell you need to do has not been working. We're still here. And you've got a pile of people, a lot of people that have been hanging out together who aren't doing any of these things for 3 weeks. None of this. Where are the hospitalizations? Where are the COVID deaths? How come they didn't just slaughter each other? How you believe that everything these guys are doing is for our own good, it's completely irrational now. Okay, you guys are traumatized and paralyzed with fear and dependence. It's It's exactly like being in an abusive relationship. The abuser normalizes the abuse that they're inflicting on the victim, and they convince you in time from doing this that you need them and that you can't make it on your own. Okay, you ever wonder why a woman stays with a man who beats her and degrades her for so long? This is it. You're living it right now. The fight for our freedom, our rights, our privileges, whatever the hell you want to call it, it's fighting for our way of life. It's fighting for what we used to have. It is worth fighting for. I'm a father. I've got a son. I don't want him growing up in this weird reality that we're living in where everyone's afraid to live. There's no need for this. I want my son to play with his friends, be in sports, be able to go to a movie. You know, his childhood's being taken away from him because of this so-called emergency. And every ridiculous measure they've put in has failed at every milestone throughout this entire pandemic. He deserves to play with his friends. He deserves to have not the life that he's having. It's not because of a virus. The risk of this virus is over. Anyone who wants to be vaccinated has had ample time to get vaccinated. Anyone who doesn't is still here. How did that happen? Okay, we have to accept the fact that this emergency is over. You can live the way you want to live. If you're vaccinated and you believe in your shot, then you will be fine. It will protect you, right? That's what it's supposed to do. Everybody else who doesn't, that's their own risk. Don't give me this crap about protecting others. No, your vaccine doesn't do that. Get that out of your head. You can get infected. It might not kill you, okay? If you believe that, fine. But you still get the virus. You can still transmit it. So don't give me this crap that the vaccine is about protecting other people. It's a lie. There's no need for this anymore. We're past it. People who are not vaccinated have survived 2 years of this. I think it's time to accept the fact that you can live one way or the other. Meanwhile, we have a leader who's sending troops to a peaceful protest. He's flexing his military emergency powers. He's freezing bank accounts, controlling your use of money. You're not just letting him do this. You're encouraging it over this emergency. You don't even stop to think about what path that's leading to and all the dangers that can be associated with that. What kind of future do you want? Do you even stop and think a little bit ahead of the risks of giving that kind of power? You might like Justin Trudeau. I don't know why you do, but you might. Okay? What if somebody else comes in that you don't like, that has the ability to flex their muscles like that? That side of the divide that you're choosing? History is not going to look kindly on it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that and want to see more, hit the like button and feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you think. This content can be found on BitChute, Gab, Brighteon, Telegram, Rumble, Parler, Odyssey, and the Highwire. So please follow, subscribe, and turn post notifications on so you can know when the next post drops. Thanks, and see you soon.